are just beginning to get an idea of the amount of damage in Jamaica after Melissa slammed into the island.
CNN's Derek Van Dam is in the western part of Jamaica surveying the destruction that's been described as extensive and catastrophic.
We're now traveling to the western side of Jamaica. That's where obviously Hurricane Melissa made landfall. And this is the first time we've been able to get out of the capital city of Kingston. And you can see just some of the overwash here on the roadways. We've encountered a lot of rock slides and mudslides and down trees, some power lines over the roads. And it's difficult to navigate this area. I mean, here's an electrical wire dangling right in front of us as well. This is obviously very typical of hurricane damage, but as we get further and further into the disaster area where the core of the hurricane struck, we anticipate the destruction to be more widespread. And obviously the weather's been a challenge as well. We've encountered a lot of fog, so these narrow roads that wind through these regions as we head towards the St. Elizabeth Parish, the western portions of Jamaica. We're getting closer and closer to New Hope, where the official landfall point was. This is going to be quite a challenge, but we're going to try and report from this area that was so heavily impacted by the hurricane. Look at this gully here that was washed out from the heavy rain. Just really, really incredible.
And a special thanks to Derek Van Dam for that report. Pamela.
Glad he is safe after all of that. I want to bring in David Watkins. He and his family are stranded in Jamaica after traveling from the U.S. for a vacation. David, hope that we are connected to you. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, how are you and your family doing this morning?
Good. Thankful to make it through it. Got through the worst part of the storm where we are located in Montego Bay. From what we've seen, came out a little better than some other places.
Yeah, but still, Montego Bay had a direct hit here. I mean, you're from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You're probably familiar with hurricanes. Just tell us what it was like going through a storm of this magnitude. I mean, just leading up to it, and then when the storm finally hit. Nerve-wracking, to say the least. Wind speeds. I've never been through anything like that in Myrtle Beach. We just did the best we could to secure, get to the center room. We fortified our room, our glass. The hotel we're staying at, there's at least 16, 17 rooms that the slides ended up blowing out right as the eye was getting close. Blew the slider out all the way back to the other door out into the main hallway. Was there ever a time where you worried about your safety, your life, and your family's life?
I'm sure subconsciously, but when it's going on, I was just in pure survival mode. Make sure my kids and my wife and my parents and my aunt just have step 1, step 2, step 3 of if this happens, we're doing this. If this happens, we're doing this. I had plans in place. And just thank God it didn't come to that. Other places aren't so fortunate.
Yeah, you were in full action mode. The adrenaline was probably going. And I'm sure you're thinking, oh my gosh, we came here for family vacation. Now we're dealing with this historic hurricane. Do you have any idea when you'll be able to leave the island?
As of right now, from what we're getting preliminary is Kingston Airport will be open Thursday. Montego Bay has some level of impact to where they don't know when that will be open. So we're looking at any and all options.
All right. Well, listen, we are wishing you the very best, David Watkins, to you and your family, and glad that you are safe. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
The full scale of Melissa's destruction is just starting to come into view as residents begin to recover. I want to discuss that and more with Jamaica's Minister for Local Government, Desmond McKenzie. Desmond, thank you so much for being with us. I know this is a difficult moment. Help us understand, big picture, how badly did this storm impact your beautiful country of Jamaica?
Well, thank you, Wolf, and thank you for having me on CNN. Let me just give the perspective. Jamaica is in the top five, one of the top five most disastrous countries in the world. We sit in the center of an earthquake fault line. Hurricanes and earthquakes is not unusual to Jamaica, but Melissa perhaps has been the greatest one that we have experienced in the country. The entire Jamaica, from Negril Point to Moran Point, has been affected. The western half of the island, parishes like St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Clarendon, Manchester, parts of Trelawney have been severely impacted. So it is fair to say that Melissa did impact the entire Jamaica. Presently, just about 73% or about 600,000 Jamaicans are without electricity. In two parishes, electricity is up. We have water in some parishes. But in our bread basket, where our economy depends heavily on agriculture, that parish is devastated. The capital of St. Elizabeth, Black River, has been totally destroyed. Hospitals have been affected, schools have been affected, police stations, fire stations, just about a great majority of our infrastructure has been affected. We are this morning doing now an assessment to see what is the next step. There are various teams out. The Prime Minister will be flying across the country to have a first-hand look at the damage. We have been meeting from last night to look at our response, and we are now presently actively now trying to restore commerce. We have given the go-ahead to the utility providers to start to restore power and telecommunication access, clearing of roads, etc. have started. So we have in fact started to do some work as we have a long journey in terms of the restoration and to look at damage across the entire country.
We're told, Desmond, that the death toll in Jamaica still stands at 3 people. Do you expect that number to go up? Is that the current number?
Well, we are not in a position to officially say yet because we have not had that information because, as I said before, some of the parishes, the communication has been difficult because of the volume of the effects in those areas. But we are hoping that there is minimal, if any at all, as it relates to death arising from the passage of Melissa.
President Trump says the United States is prepared to help the people in Jamaica in the aftermath of this brutal storm. Have you been in touch with any U.S. officials, and is any U.S. aid or international aid, for that matter, already starting to come in to help the people in Jamaica?
Well, yes, we have been in touch through our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Even prior to the advent of the hurricane, as the Minister with responsibility for local government, I've been in touch with the U.S. Embassy. We are doing an assessment on our airports to see how best for flights to come in with relief supplies, because as I said before, the entire country was affected by the passage of Melissa. And by mid-afternoon, we'll be doing that. But already, a needs list have been prepared, and we have been working the fields with our international partners, including the United States. And I want to say on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica, we welcome the announcement by President Trump for his assistance to the people of Jamaica.
Do you have any sense at all, Desmond, how long it will take for the Jamaican people to recover from the storm?
Wolf, it's going to be a massive rebuild, Wolf, because presently we have over 20,000 or more Jamaicans in shelters. And most of those persons will have to remain in shelters because a lot of damage has been done to homes. So once we have done the assessment, Wolf, it is going to take us some time. It's going to be a long haul, but we are prepared to face the challenges that are ahead of us to start to rebuild this beautiful country. And as I said before, we welcome the help of every well-thinking person across the world, and I want to assure the Jamaicans in the United States and across the world that the government of Dr. Andrew Holness have started the process to see how and how quickly we can return Jamaica to some level of activeness. As I said before, we have now lifted the restrictions and all the entities are up now making the necessary arrangements to start the progress of getting Jamaica back on track.
Jamaica's Minister for Local Government, Desmond McKenzie, good luck to you. Good luck to all the people in Jamaica. Thank you very, very much for joining us.